banter. Balls and banter. No excuses, just win, win, win with your balls and banter. We got balls, we got pucks, we got sticks, we got everything in between. We got balls and banter.
All right, folks, it's Thursday. Made it through another week. Hope that you are doing well. Lots to get into today. Nate is back. Tom is here. The boys all here in tow. What's up, guys? How are you doing today?
Oh, doing well, doing well. Can't wait for tonight's Avalanche Canadiens game.
No.
I keep saying Canadians.
Canadiens Hurricanes game.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Last night was the Avalanche. That will be a great game, too.
Getting ahead of myself.
Yes, getting a little excited. That's probably what you're going to see. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Anyways, we will see. There's a lot. I mean, last night was a surprise. We're going to talk about that in a second for sure. But well, let's start where we start. Let's start with basketball, because the Spurs had gone up in game one. Wemby had a hell of a night. They take the lead in the series. The Thunder came back last night. SGA, I think, had 30 points. Like, nope, we're in this. That was a mistake. It's 1-1. This series is going to be super tight. It's going to be really fun, I think, all the way through. I would think that this thing goes pretty deep. Nate, what do you think? You're the basketball guy.
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to go 7 for sure. You see the way Hartenstein was trying to weigh down Wemby last night. They're definitely eyeing the long term here, tried to wear him down. And, it's just a case of two of OKC who's had the best record, They're a good team, and you weren't going to just sweep them under the rug.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They came out, showed what they had, and we'll go on to game 3.
I think it was Tuesday I was talking about this. Maybe it was last week. I don't remember, but I think it was Tuesday. But did you see, I think this year OKC's got 2 first-round picks.
Of course.
I mean, obviously one via trade. I think the other is their original pick. But it's like, man, the rich just get richer. Have you looked at their roster? They don't need 2 more up-and-coming stars from the first round. That doesn't seem fair. It's just really a selfish thought on my part, but good for them.
Well, that's a proper rebuild. You kind of look at what the 76ers did when they started the process.
Right.
And it makes you wonder how their GM still has a job. It's been like 15 years. They have like 1 appearance in the conference finals and a wounded Joel Embiid limping up and down the court to show for it. And It's like you look at OKC, their rebuild was like 5 years, and they've won a title, and they still have just this like overwhelming abundance of picks, which they traded a few for Jared McCain, and they still have some. So it's like, what are the Sixers doing? They need to fire Daryl Morey.
Yeah, you would think so. Speaking with the Sixers in the East, Knicks Cavs. I mean, the game the other night, crazy comeback. A lot of people probably turned their TV off in frustration and disgust. You shouldn't have, because the Knicks came back and pulled it off. It was crazy. But that series resumes. What are your thoughts there, Nate? We didn't get them Tuesday, so let's get them now.
The Danhausen curse took effect for sure.
Yeah.
But, that was unbelievable. Unbelievable collapse. They were down by about 20, and I stepped in the back room to do something for about 5 minutes and came back, and it was a 5-point game. Yeah. The run had been 18-1, and I was like, oh, man, I should have turned it on in the back. And, then they just, once they got to overtime, it was game over. The Cavs were exhausted, I think, and it makes you wonder about James Harden with his age. He's always kind of, not really showing his age, been kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, but yeah, now you're seeing him starting to burn out at the end of this. It's the conference finals too, so it's been a grind leading up to this.
Right.
To get 2 Game 7s, I think. So it's like, well, maybe dude's exhausted, and starting to see the effects.
Right. Well, and the Knicks played uncharacteristically bad early on. Kind of got their groove. Like that one is going to be interesting, because if they get down, like that Knicks team has been super hot, which is why when I came into the game late, about late second quarter. I was like, man, like I thought this Knicks team was just going to keep running like they have, and they just didn't look that way. And then, but they still could. I mean, now they come back, they win this game. Like maybe it was like a slight hiccup, and they just rip and roar through Cleveland. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be as tight as I mean, you don't think it goes as deep as the other series, do you?
I mean, it
probably
could not.
Maybe 5-6 games.
6 games. Yeah, I think the betting coming out was 5 games. I could see it going 6. We'll see how the Cavs rebound. It's tough when you have a team on the ropes like that, and then you let them off the hook.
Yeah, it's tough when you just got the logo on your jersey too, and no words or logo types.
I'm just not a James Harden fan. I don't think Cleveland's got it in them, and I don't see James coming through. He just doesn't. I don't know. I've never really believed in him, and I think the Knicks are just too much right now. And then as far as San Antonio goes, I feel like I'm not sure what the injury report says, but they had a couple of injuries last night, and they just seem beat up to me. Whereas, coming into the series, I thought they had all the momentum, but I think the momentum, at least in my opinion, has been shifted back to OKC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, they lost. Who did they lose last night? Harper. I was reading about it earlier. I didn't catch all the game. We were going back. I was watching a lot of the hockey game, which we're going to talk about here in a second. They're down 2 players.
I think Harper was the only one they lost last night, but De'Aaron Fox has been out.
Right, that's right. Fox was out. Harper goes down. Yeah, we'll see, Tom. I mean, they were amazing all year long. They were amazing last year. Having to face them in the Western Conference Finals, just like, bro, like, how do you? It's like the Avalanche this year. It's like, how do you stop? I mean, they got stopped last night. The Avalanche did, but how do you stop this team? Like, they just have so much going for them. Speaking of
the Spurs, they beat them game 1. So I mean, the Spurs did what they're supposed to. They went on the road and took one. So
yeah,
I mean, I know OKC won the last game, so it feels like the momentum's their way. But I mean, we're dead even going into San Antonio. So I'm feeling good if I'm the Spurs.
Yeah, well, you got Wemby, you got a deep. I mean, even with those injuries, they've got a talented roster. So, I think I would be shocked if that one doesn't go to 7. I'm with you on that, Nate. I mentioned the T-Wolves a second ago. I guess there's interest, there's rumors, there's allegations, there's allegedly stories out there talking about how Ant would be interested in pursuing Kyrie Irving in the offseason, which could be interesting. Kyrie's still 34. Kyrie looks like in basketball pro athlete terms, he kind of looks older to me than 34. He looks like he is a crafty veteran. He's an awesome player, but he looks like he's older than that to me. But there is interest there. I saw some reports about Giannis going there. It's like, well, how the hell are you going to pull this off, GM? Like, that's a lot. But I could see the Kyrie move. I mean, possibly. And if Ant wants it, they're going to do whatever they can to keep Ant happy, because the last thing that they want to hear in the Twin Cities, if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves organization, is I'm tired, I want to trade. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, they've gone deep into the playoffs. The last several years, they've been really, really talented. But they also haven't gotten over the edge. So, like, Ant wants some support. I think that they will listen to him. Does he get his exact way, the exact player? I don't know. But they're going to have to add another player or hope that this freaking expansion happens sooner than later so they can get over to the East and have an easier path to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I just say good luck with Kyrie. There's a long list of people who wanted Kyrie and had buyer's remorse a year or 2 later. The dude's coming off a serious knee injury. It's like you don't know what you're getting there, and what the track record of what you are getting is very unstable. So be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's younger talent that you could go out. Like, I think you improve. Rudy Gobert has been good, not necessarily great. I think you can improve in the paint. The bench has been great. Again, you get Dante DiVincenzo back if you're I am too, but if you're a T-Wolves fan, you get some good players back next year. There's a couple. If the other report was true that they were going to take a stab, obviously a lot of people are at Giannis. Like, well, yeah, like that one's a good one. But I don't know. I have my reservations about that too, because there's been the injuries you talked about with Kyrie. When he's available and he's on, he's great. But he also is getting up there. He's not LeBron's age, who's obviously still in his own category, but he's an older player. I think with the rest of what you've got there, I don't know. We'll see what they do. It'll be an interesting offseason, no doubt. Last night, Game 1, Las Vegas Knights go into Ball Arena in Denver and take the freaking dub. Crazy game. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it, but I mean, the freaking Knights go up 3-0. I'm sitting there, and my girls are like, I want the Knights. I hate the Avalanche. They knocked us out. So everyone's engaged in the game. And I'm like, yeah, just, brace yourselves because the Avalanche are so freaking good, and they still are so freaking good. I still would predict that they win this series. But then the Knights come out, and they're up 3-0. I'm like, well, son of a bitch. Like, we could have beaten the Knights. Like, you end up doing that whole thing. But the Knights played out. They played great. The Avalanche score in the third, score again in the third. I mean, so it ends up being 3-2, and then the Knights get an empty netter, and it's 4-2 in the end. But good for Las Vegas, man, going into Denver and stealing one in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked by that. But again, I think there's nothing better than NHL playoff hockey, so I'm pretty happy with that outcome. But I think the Avalanche have been too good all year round, and I still think they've got a lot of momentum going into this. It's going to be tight, but I'm taking the Avs.
Well, the other thing is Cale Makar didn't play last night for Colorado. You're missing a huge piece. The first or second, depending on your list. First, top 1 or 2 defenders in the entire league. So that was a miss for them. I think you're right. This is one of the most talented teams in a long time, unless they caught some weird ass juju bug on in between the last series and this one. I don't see how they don't win the whole damn thing, as we talked about Tuesday.
Hey, Nate, was Danhausen anywhere near the Avalanche?
No, but I heard one of them took a Carnival cruise, so that juju bug might be antivirus.
Right.
I mean, I like, I love the Knights. They've got some playoff magic. Seems like they kind of have ever since they, became a good franchise,
right?
Which happened relatively quick. Vegas is the biggest hockey town I've ever been in. The way they support the Knights are crazy. So I'm excited. We'll see if the Knights can pull it off.
Well, I hope they certainly continue this and make it a series. I'd like to see them win because screw the Avalanche. They're in our division. They knocked us out. Suck a dick. But I think just having it be a great series. Like I want Montreal to beat Carolina. I said this on Tuesday. I want Montreal to beat Carolina in the other series. I don't want either of these series to be, sweeps. Obviously the West can't be, but 4-0 or 4-1. Like I want these to be like, come on, this is the last thing we've got for a while. Make it good. So,
Yeah.
Hey, just real quick, Nate and I went to a Golden Knights game last year, and the woman that was sitting in front of us, I got to chatting with her, and she actually lives in Los Angeles and flies to every home game of the Knights.
God bless her. That's the thing, man. I mean, there's diehard fans for every sport, but there's a difference. There's a difference. For example, as we talk about a lot, between college football fans and NFL fans. You go into one stadium on Saturday and the other on Sunday, it's a different level of energy at the big levels. You go into, though, when you kind of switch sports, like hockey fans are next level. Like, those are my people, like, actually, if I'm being honest. Like, you've got like a little bit of the WWE crowd, the hockey crowd. It's just, you blend all these things together, and it's like it's a smaller size audience than obviously big football teams, but the freaking passion and energy and beer consumption is outstanding. Like they're fun people. I've not been to a Vegas game. I'm sure it's amazing there, but they are like, I love the energy at hockey games. Is there a sport that's better? Like I think college football is the best in my view, but outside of major football, I don't think anything even holds a candle to the NHL.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It's a very high pace, very intense. I think part of it, there's no real breaks during the period. So once you're in, you're in.
You're in. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a different energy to it, and you're right. Yeah, once you're in, you're in, and it almost seems like there's no time to breathe. I know that there's penalties called and so forth, and there's a little bit of game stoppage, but the momentum at which the periods they take on a life of their own. Whereas in some sports, like football, you still have, clock management and you can slow the game down, you can run the ball. But in hockey, it just seems like relentless. It's always coming at you.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. There's nothing more electric than the game day environment at just about any college football campus in America.
It's pretty outstanding. It's pretty the copious amounts of drunk kids that have been tailgating all day and parents certainly does add to that environment. But yeah, that one's tough to beat. But when you're there, there's lots, like you're saying, Tom, there's lots of lulls. The amount of damn TV timeouts. It's like, oh my gosh, we have another 3-minute break. Like, I wish we had that back in the day. You didn't get that many breaks. But yeah, I think it's really good. Montreal, Carolina kickoff tonight. That's game one. That's going to be great. 8 o'clock on TNT. And then switching over to the NFL. We talked to Aaron Rodgers Tuesday. We're going to talk about him again today because he answered this question after a little dialogue here. Take a listen to him at a presser this week in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I love Mike T. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity to come in last year and love my experience with him. And, I thought when he said he was stepping away, that was an emotional moment just because we all love him so much and care about him. And, I thought that that was probably it for me in Pittsburgh. But when the decision was made to hire Mike, I started opening my mind back up to coming back.
Could be your last year. Do you even think of that right now?
Yes. This is it, yeah.
So this is it. Tom asked the question. We talked about this the other day. Is this the Cher farewell tour that happens 10 times? Or is this the last time that Pittsburgh or any team gets drug along in the Aaron Rodgers offseason saga? Aaron says this is it, the last hurrah. I tend to believe him. I would hold out a little bit if you're a betting person on the chances, depending on how the year goes. But he says it's time, and I think that's the perfect thing if you're Pittsburgh. Like we talked about Tuesday, you've got some young quarterbacks in the quarterback room, including Mason Rudolph, who's been there, but you've got Will Howard from Ohio State and then Drew Aller, who they picked up this year. You've got some guys who can learn. Will's already got a year under Aaron. He'll get a second. Drew Aller's going to get 1 year under one of the greats, all-time greats at quarterback. So I think that's a good thing for them, sets them up for the future. Would they love Aaron to be a couple years younger and set the clock back and have him a little bit longer? Sure, of course they would. But I think this is the perfect thing. I think it's the perfect thing for Mike McCarthy. I'm coming in. I've got a familiar friend and face and leader on this team. And then he's going to set us up for where things go next. And then eventually Mike McCarthy will get fired because he gets fired everywhere he goes. But it's a good transition period for the Steelers, I think. And I think it's smart for Aaron. Like, man, you've done it all, bro. Like, just go do some ayahuasca and do whatever you do.
Well, clearly the DMT elves told Aaron that this was the right decision, but some might believe that the DMT elves might be demons. In that case, it might be the wrong decision. It just depends on where he finds himself in the simulation.
Thank you for that clarification.
Nate, would you like to expound on that?
Yeah, I'd say good riddance, Aaron Rodgers. I hate the guy. So it's about time.
What's your hate reason for Aaron Rodgers?
I'm a Bears fan. And then
okay, fair point.
Him and like LeBron, it's just like anytime I bet against him, they burn me. And anytime I'm like, I'm gonna pull a sneaky one, I'm gonna bet with Aaron Rodgers. Surely he'll win this game, and then he just like goes off the rails. Just like, what the hell? It feels like Lethal Weapon 4 or something where you bring back everyone from the first one. It's like, Mike McCarthy's back. We're teaming him back up with Aaron Rodgers. Pretend like you care one last time.
See,
and it's just like, I think it's his last for sure, just because most teams are probably going to realize it's just like, we could just have a mediocre season if we bring him back in an emergency, or we could just eat it and have a good draft pick next year.
I'm a bit more superficial about Aaron Rodgers, and I've never been like totally on board or totally off board with Aaron Rodgers. The one thing that I can't get over, and it has to do with my own superficialities, is I never felt like his helmet fit right. It always looks weird on his head, and it was just it's that sort of visual that I could never get across to be either Team Aaron or anti-Aaron.
Okay. I mean, he wears an old school helmet, like to the point where in the last, I think it was year or two, he was like, well, no, I'm not switching helmets. Well, the league actually no longer endorses or allows that particular helmet. Like he would wear like the old bike air helmet, like the most old school shit ever. And eventually the league was like, literally that one's not approved for use in this game anymore. So he did have that. He was, but here's the thing, like, does his head fit perfectly in it? I think it fits fine. I think that's just how the old helmets looked a little different, fit a little different.
Just examine it. Take the time, look at some pictures, and you'll go, oh, yeah, it is kind of weird.
It is different. It is different. I'll give you that. But I'll give him credit, too. Like, you stuck to your guns. You go single snap, chin strap, and just pin it to the side in between plays. Like, that, I mean, like, that's some, like, old school. Like, you might as well be like Mark Duper with the single ball. Like,
Billy Kilmer.
Yes. Like, I'm a traditionalist. So I too, I mean, the Packers are our biggest rival in Minnesota as well. Lots of those deep rivalries in the black and blue division up there. But I always respected him. I also cheered against him. I hated him when he was there. I think he's a very interesting person off the field. I was at the game where the last time Anthony Barr hurt him in US Bank Stadium. I cheered inappropriately, so said some mean things. But then I've come around and I've grown as a human, and now that he's not an enemy, I can appreciate him a little bit more. You can see why someone would want him, but you can also see why this is time to move on. So I think this is the right move. We'll see how this year goes. I tell you what I don't like. I just don't like the hiring of McCarthy in Pittsburgh. I know we've talked about it. I just am so not sold on the guy. He also looks like he's going to have a cardiac event any day now. I hope he doesn't. I'm not wishing for that for him. I like the Steelers organization. He's just gotten worse and worse, especially when he hasn't had a young, healthy Aaron Rodgers and some of the talent that he had back then. And I don't know. I'm sure he's a great person in real life. Maybe he's not. I have no idea. He could be Mike Vrabel. But I just don't. I can't get behind him. Loved Tomlin. Can't get behind Mike McCarthy. Next 4 Super Bowl sites are set. Here's what we got. We've obviously got SoFi this year in February in 2027. Then we're going to Atlanta. I don't feel like Atlanta deserves nice things, but whatever. Then Las Vegas the following year, 2029, and Nashville, whose new stadium set to open in, I believe, 2027, I think next year. They will host it in 2030. So my question to you boys is, let's leave that up, Jonathan, is which one do you want to attend the most of these 4? And why? Tom, I'll start with you. Go.
Let's see. All right, let me start with the ones that I wouldn't be interested in to attend, and that's to say, if the Miami Dolphins are playing in it, then each of these venues works for me. I would go with Atlanta. I've spent a lot of time in Atlanta, and I just, the downtown area doesn't really offer that much. There are a few things. I don't like the overall vibe of Atlanta. It's not really the type of place that that I would like to hang out. So that one would be at the bottom of the list. I would go, let's see. At the top of my list would be Nashville. I think it would be a lot of fun there. There's always a lot to do. Then Los Angeles. What was the last one?
Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, we just spent 6 months there last year. And the thing what I like about Vegas is the fact that it's a city that's built for big events. So if you're going to have a big event like the Super Bowl, as it did WrestleMania, the traffic flow, the pedestrian flow, everything is there. The hotels, of course, are there. The casinos, restaurants, you've got it all. But the one thing I don't like about Las Vegas are all the upcharges and all the hidden charges that you get with everything. And so to me, that would be kind of a drag, and that's what lowers it down on the list for me.
Okay.
So it goes Nashville, Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Atlanta.
Okay. Nate, what say you?
I'm going Vegas for number one. Like Tom said, it's built for it. And if you're going to take a trip somewhere out of all those 4 places, there's no better place to go than Vegas. You do whatever you want there, get whatever you want. It's all there, baby. Everything the world has to offer is there.
And when he says everything, that means everything.
It's all on the table, baby. And and it's just all right there too. It's very convenient to get around, very easy to get around. Number 2 would be LA. I love LA. Also another place where there's so much to do there. And if you take a trip there, there's so much else you could do. You can make a week vacation out of it. Mm-hmm. That said, I've lived there a long time. So there's but that's another reason why I want to go back. And then, I don't know, between Atlanta and Nashville, both those places are going to be cold in February, which Vegas will be surprisingly cold too, but not as bad as those places. I've had some good times in Atlanta, but a lot of it was related to like good music scene there. There's always bands coming through and different things. I'd go Atlanta over Nashville just because Atlanta's filling up with all the people who are going to go to the Super Bowl. It'd probably be a pretty crazy town that year. Nashville's fun. It's good. I've been there a ton. It's all kind of the same. Everybody's like, oh, there's music everywhere, and there is, but they're like not like touring bands that come through. They're bands who like paid to play Robert's Western World that night. And so it's like, man, and then it's Tennessee. Like, do they even sell booze there on Sundays? I don't even know.
Okay. Fair.
I'm gonna put Nashville last, but Nashville's fun. I don't want to hate on it too much. I do enjoy Nashville.
Okay, fair points. I'm shocked to see Nashville last for anyone, but Nate made some good justifications for all of his picks. First and foremost, I agree with Tom. I'm going Nashville first. And my hope is that finally, for the first time, not the first time, but finally we get a country music act or acts in Nashville at the Super Bowl halftime show. Can we get some like real Americana stuff here happening? Like,
no, the answer is no.
If I'm telling you, I give the NFL so much grace. So many people I know have left them. I'm never watching them again. Okay, I can't do that. I love football too much. I like it more than humans. So that's my stance. But I get the things that people are frustrated about. I have lots of frustrations with them too. If you host a Super Bowl in Nashville and you don't have major country stars play that Super Bowl halftime show, like, you have totally screwed the pooch. Absolutely. And if anyone can do it, it is Roger Goodell in the NFL. Like, they could screw this up, but it is like the biggest layup ever.
Yeah. So what I'm going to say is, Jay-Z, start booking Garth Brooks and the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah. If they go that, and they probably will. Oh, don't piss me off like that.
Look out for Darius Rucker. He's going to be playing there. Nashville loves him.
Oh, yeah, with his Miami Dolphins garb on.
Yeah, Hootie.
Oh man. So I'm going Nashville. I'm going Vegas. I'm going LA. I'm putting Atlanta last. So we're similar, Tom, but slightly different at 2 and 3. I think Vegas has so much to offer. It's a fun city. You can get in a lot of trouble. You can also not get in a lot of trouble and just have a good time. You pick your poison. That's the fun thing about Vegas. Nashville's so fun. Getting around Atlanta is terrible. I'm going to be up there in a few weeks, but it's like the worst city to navigate.
Yeah, to me, when I was talking about the vibe to me is I feel like I'm in a giant parking garage or a parking lot when I'm in Atlanta. I'm driving everywhere at a really slow pace just to try and find somewhere to go. And the stress of getting around there just leads me not to have that much fun once I get to the destination.
Here's the other thing too. The Atlanta, this is the old, Georgia Dome was this way too. But the way that it shocks me they did it this way. But the way that modern stadiums are built, Dallas, Atlanta, Minnesota, all the same builder. But Dallas has their traditional opening in the center. Minnesota has a glass roof, so it looks like, you're playing outdoors in terms of the sunlight coming in. SoFi has a lot of light coming in. A lot of these things. Atlanta's like, let's just keep it really dark and dim looking in here. So, like, you have the opening that, like, can spiral at the top for the Mercedes-Benz, dome. But it just always looks so dark. It's like, it looks miserable. You people are miserable. It's like the people of Seattle. You live a horrible life. So do the Atlanta Falcons fans. You've got to go into this dark place, like Satan's lair, even though it's really nice and has good accoutrements, good food, nice seats. Like, you can't find your way around. It's just dark. I'm sure it's bright in there. I'm sure there's a Falcons fan screaming through the screen right now. I'm sure it's bright in there, bro. On television, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
Lighten it up. Lighten it up. Okay, last thing on the NFL. We don't have a graphic for this, but this is the most NFL thing. Here's the stuff that pisses me off about the NFL. They have said that they're willing and wanting to expand the international games, which this year are at 9, which is crazy. That's Looney Tunes right there. Willing and wanting to expand it to 10 in the near future, and also remove protections that certain teams have right now to protect home games. Basically saying, hey, we want, and everyone's saying this is good for the game, it's good for the league, it expands it. Yeah, it's great for the league. It expands their pockets and bank accounts a great deal. No doubt. You've got these TV deals. You've got more jersey sales. You've got more stuff happening around the globe. I get it. But here's my take on it. I don't know what y'all's take is because we haven't talked about this. I just think that doing more and more of these international games, well, I do see the value and benefit of expanding the audience and fan base of the NFL. I see taking more and more games away from home stadiums in the United States of America as a slap in the face. Like, who built your franchise? Your fans did. Like, the energy and the commitment and the loyalty of NFL teams' fans have made the NFL what it is. Have they done some great things on their own? Yes. Are they a behemoth? Yes. But the thing is now they're a behemoth to the point where they don't listen to their fans anymore. They just tell you, this is good for you. This is good for the league. Trust us. We're taking some games away from you and some opportunities to see the team that you have season tickets to. To me, the whole thing is a slap in the face. I get the desire to expand internationally. I just don't think we need 9-10 games to do it. Like, rotate through. Have 2, 3, whatever the number is, a modest number. Rotate it through. That also allows teams to rotate and have long breaks between having to do that international travel. Unless you're the Jags and you choose to do, like, let's do 8 games in London this year. Like it allows you to space things out. I just think expanding to the point that they have and then telling the fans that this is good. This is a good thing for all of us. I think it's a big kick in the nuts.
That's very counter-revolutionary, Drew.
See, this is where, okay, I'm not going to say put on your tinfoil hat, but I've said this on more than one occasion that live sports are going to be for the elites. So to me, expanding the NFL market to foreign countries caters to the global elites. These are people who I'm talking about, not like, your run-of-the-mill billionaires, the people we don't hear about. These are the people, and even the billionaires that we do hear about. These are the people who don't care about countries. They don't care about cities. They don't care about borders. They just want to be entertained wherever they are and just be able to move freely around the planet. Unfortunately, Roger Goodell has this globalist view of the world that he shares with these other elites. So, of course, they want to have expansion to make it more convenient so these people don't have to travel, across the Atlantic to go to the game or teleport like some of them do, I think. But to me, once you get to a certain point of popularity, you have a tendency to make things more exclusive, and you have a tendency to turn your back on your original fan base that got you there. And I see this as just the natural progression of the NFL is turning your back on the fan base that you got there because you would rather have a smaller, more exclusive fan base moving on.
Okay. All right. So you warranted the tinfoil hat with some of those because you had teleportation in there.
Yes.
You said a lot there, my friend.
Yeah, but I think with the overall brand, and and Adam Silver said it himself when they were talking when it was raised at a press conference about seeing games, and he said, well, that's what highlights are for. And to me, that's the mentality of these people, like your Adam Silvers and your Roger Goodells of the world, where highlights are for the peasants and the live sports will be for the elites. And I feel like this is another the expansion of a European schedule or a global schedule.
Yeah, global.
Yeah, it is more in line with that kind of thought.
I do think it is trending across the board, concerts, sports, it's being priced to the point where it is more for the elites. I don't dispute that. Is there a theory or a strategy behind it? I think there is in some cases. There's maybe isn't in some. I don't know, but I do think the net result is probably the same. Nate, what do you think of expanding to 10, whatever the number ends up being, international games?
It's kind of a lot. I feel like eventually we may see every team have one or something. Excuse me. I think they're kind of seeing what the NBA did in the 90s and afterwards, and they started making a concerted effort to span internationally and just more sort of harvest the talent pool of international players. And you're seeing that paying dividends now, but then, also increasing your market, even if you're only playing one game over there. I don't know how big the stadiums are, but if they're bigger than your home stadium, if you're playing a soccer stadium that can hold 80,000 people, your home stadium only holds 40,000. You're like, oh, we're going to make more money that day, and we're going to charge more too. And then, just trying to, like, I remember a few years ago when they set, each region had their own home team. Like, the UK's was Jacksonville, and I can't remember who else's was what, but, it's a concerted effort, sell merchandise. You can sell the international streaming package and all that.
Right.
But, that said, each team only gets 8 home games. So it's like
8 or 9 now. Yeah.
You're burning one on going to play in Germany. And it's like the players might like it because they get a free international trip. I don't know, but then it's like if you can't line up the bye weeks afterwards or something, it's just like, oh man, it's tough. It's tough pulling off 1 out of 8 or 9 games away from your hometown fans. It's just in the name of like having a whole new market to sell merch and sell the streaming platform too, and then try and sell tickets too.
Yeah. No.
I was just going to say, I feel like trying to, have football get the same reach as baseball or basketball is a heavy lift because it's so gear intensive, and it's just basketball is a pretty easy lift because that's an international sport, and it didn't really take off internationally until the Dream Team. That kind of, to me, sort of, there were, of course people were playing basketball before that in other countries, but it didn't seem to pick up momentum as much as it did after the Dream Team in, what was that, the 92 Olympics or 90 Olympics?
92, yeah.
But with football, okay, so, taking the global elites out of it, but, still going back to that, as sort of a baseline, if you want to expand the market, and I personally think that there's no way that you're going to have, like police athletic league, football, junior football, or, high school or college football in Europe or Australia or in South America. I just don't see that happening. But what I do see happening is the rise of flag football, because it's not as gear intensive and there isn't as much fundamentals as, like blocking and tackling and so forth. So you're just working on the mechanics of, running, making cuts, throwing the ball, and catching the ball. So if I'm Roger Goodell and I'm the NFL and I want to reach out to, foreign countries and develop foreign talent, to me, the best way to do it is under flag football if I want that to keep seeing a steady rise in the United States.
Well, I mean, Europe is pretty gay, so you could see them going the flag route. I think they do have some youth leagues, but it's not a prevalent thing. I get your point. Man, you put Middle East, I'm not going to go down that route. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just is you've always got to keep you as a business owner and commissioner, Roger Goodell, who wears sweaters very well. Good for you, Roger. Like, that's great. You wear a nice sweater. You're a pretty good communicator. You should want to grow the NFL, grow its reach, and grow its revenue. That's your job. That's your job to communicate and to do to the board members. However, that should be you can't use the 80-20 thing or any of that because it's a little nuanced, because you do have to please the board members, but you also got to please the fan. The fans brought you here, and I just maintain, in my view, that it's like you're taking games from someone who should have had 9 games at home or should have had 8 games at home this year, and you're reducing it by 1. In the case of the Jags, sometimes 2. Like this, that's not. I don't think it's acceptable, and you can't piss on your own people and tell them it's no big deal. Don't worry about it. It's just rain. It's like no. Like, you are literally urinating on your fans and saying it's okay, and to me it's not. I think you do something. You do something different. You don't expand. I think you truncate it down, rotate around. Like you're doing Australia this year. You're doing all these spots. Like, put one in Thailand next year. I don't care where the hell you do it. Just have 3 international games a year and make that your thing and touch a bunch of places. If London wants to have one every year like they always do, fine. Then the other 2 are rotating. But that's not going to happen. It's going to keep going the opposite direction. Like Nate said, eventually everyone's just going to have – you have 1 international game per year. Like I could see that happening well before us course correcting anywhere.
Yeah, but also, too, if you're looking down the road with the NFL – and you're seeing the progression of the NFL from wearing leather helmets up into the Guardian caps that we have now, the smaller shoulder pads, everything. If you're looking 30 to 40 years down the road, as most global elites do, and you see the consolidation of the earth where, let's just say, we have 12 kingdoms, we don't have any sort of international borders anymore. We just have 12 different regions around the globe. The one thing that they're going to need is some sort of commonality. So if you start laying the groundwork right now to have something that mirrors football that everybody's familiar with, but isn't as gear intensive and it doesn't take the same sort of training requirements to make the NFL, and you've got this flag football thing, all of a sudden you've got a sport that, people are familiar with. It doesn't require, people bashing into each other, but it helps these 12 regions around the world have some sort of athletic competition to keep the peasants at bay.
I mean, I know that's your take. Let's stay with.
I was going to say, I feel like Endgame is more so you develop kind of leagues in each major continent. And then, you're going to have all the UK teams versus the Europe teams, South America teams, the North America teams, and then that'll be the playoffs. And then the Super Bowl is going to be, the worldwide event of Australia versus, I don't know who, the Bears, never the Jets.
Right, but then again, somehow you're going to have to take away the athletes from like your cricket or, basketball or, other international sports or even local sports. If you're in Ireland and you've got somebody who's a good Gaelic football player, and they've got a professional league in that, how are you going to take that crop of kids and say, oh, no, we've got a minor league team here in Dublin that plays in London, and also in Spain and a couple of other places. I just don't see that taking off, especially when you have already established leagues where you could make a living at it.
I don't think they can compete because the players who are good at soccer or rugby or cricket aren't going to leave that for something where they know on an international level they're going to get curb stomped. There's not going to be the finances behind it locally or regionally there. It's the equivalent of like someone in America who's not good enough to play real sports, so they go and play lacrosse. Like, there's no money in it. You can't make the football team. I'll go play lacrosse. I get it. Like, it feels good.
You know what? Jim Brown, God rest his soul, would have a word with you about it.
I know he would. I actually think lacrosse is interesting. But you see it a lot in prevalent, especially more well-to-do neighborhoods, who it's like, oh, does your son do anything? Knowing the son is not very talented. Yeah, he plays lacrosse. Like, oh, okay. All right.
Well, that dude on the Warriors got drafted pro lacrosse or could have went pro. I can't remember what it was. Pat Spencer, I think it is, and he's on the Golden State Warriors. Him and his brother were like badass lacrosse guys. I want to say he was drafted, and then he was like, "No, I'm going to the NBA." Actually, they pay a little better,
just a wee bit,
and be the best lacrosse player. But that's what I was going to say is where it's going to come from. Is the NFL has to develop this fanhood first, and then all of a sudden it's like we're going to start a UK league, and there's going to be a London team, and I don't know any other cities in the UK because screw them, but they'll have their own league. And like that's what will entice the players to move over and then also develop that when they're younger, like start playing American football because there will be NFL money back behind it, you know.
Well,
but yeah, you couldn't have an independent American football league running in Ireland and then think they're going to compete with our NFL players in like some kind of international playoff by any means. But if the NFL puts its money behind it and starts harvesting that fan base, and then the talent starts harvesting, and then, you know, you got some. But obviously that would be decades down the road.
That's
right.
a long, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I agree with Nate, that you start harvesting that, but you start it with flag football, and eventually flag football is going to take off. Flag football is a lot more palatable for for European people than American football is.
I have so many things to say. Okay.
And that's why the NFL is going to be no longer tackle in 40 years. It's all going to be flag.
I don't know. I mean, I understand the
Shut
sentiment
your horse mouth.
that you are taking. I don't think it goes that far. I do think it's going to blow up. I think flag's going to blow up.
Same.
But like, I think that it's always there in some form. You know, what are you going to do with the lineman? Tom, what are you going to do with your loved long snapper? Like, there's no role for a long snapper in flag football. Like, there's a lot of people who lose out, you know. I know everyone wants to make it safer and this, that, and the other. Stop it. You should get a concussion and then think about it. Like reevaluate once you've had a couple. It's way better. But I don't know. I think it's probably in between your 40-year scenario and where it seems like we're going. But I don't know. Who knows? I do know this. We have 100 days. That's 100 until college football comes back, and all of us can be happy again and get off our antidepressants. There's the graphic. A lot of people posting different graphics today. We just happened to use On Threes. Great graphic On Three. Got Bryce Underwood in there. We got Elko. We got Signetti, Tony, Jeremiah Smith, Lane Kiffin. By the way, Lane Kiffin has added Ed Ogeron to his staff. So you got Coach O and Lane in the same place. Young women, look out in Baton Rouge. Put something like chastity belts are selling like hotcakes in LSU. Like they are through the roof. Mark Streeman's on there. Arch is on there. Trinidad's on there. I'm so pumped about it, boys. I'm pumped that we're close. You know, the point that kind of tees it up is we get to that first terrible yet beautiful Hall of Fame game where it looks like a middle school preseason practice. But then you just know, like, okay, we're going to start getting some others. We're going to start getting some looks at some of these young rookies, some guys in new systems. And then it's going to be week 0 in college football before you know it. Week 0 in college football is where, to me, like, it's not springtime, but there's, like, in my mind, bluebirds flying around. There's butterflies, like, landing on my shoulder. Like, I wet my pants in excitement. It dries on its own. There's no rash. It's like everything just, like, looks brighter, feels better. It's amazing. And it's only 100 days away.
The air is crisper.
It absolutely is. Except for in Florida where you're literally still dying of humidity. But
the corned beef is just that nice warm temperature.
Yeah.
In Ann Arbor. God, that deli.
Zingerman's?
Zingerman's, yes.
Yeah. Don't you forget Zingerman's name, Tom.
I know.
I haven't been. I think I got time. I can get up there tonight. We'll see.
Do it. Do you want to go deli or you want to go Zingerman's Roadhouse? Which way are you going?
I didn't know about the Roadhouse. What is
Roadhouse
this?
Is good. Same company. They have the breads and desserts there, but then you can get like a nice meal of food. Great place to bring your family. We go every year. We're not actually this year. I don't think we're going to make it, which is depressing. But we go every year traditionally. It's good. It's a little bit outside off of campus, but not far.
Go Delhi.
Yeah, Delhi's hard to beat. Delhi's hard to beat. It's a different experience. Right. So, or do both. If you're feeling adventurous, do Delhi for like lunch or breakfast, and then go Roadhouse for night. You're welcome. I get no sponsorship. Here's the only weird thing. They have all these trinkets all over the restaurants. A little weird. Like you feel like maybe you're going to be murdered. Like, am I in Buffalo Bob's basement here? It's like, but it's super good food. And you're in Ann Arbor, so you know it's going to be good. Speaking of Big Ten and college football, so I don't know who put this out. CBS Sports did. According to CBS Sports, not Air It Out Bro, not Balls and Banter. This is their top 10 Big Ten football rivalry ranking. So let's leave this up on the screen for a second here. Obviously, number one is a lock. Michigan, Ohio State, the game. That's the best rivalry across all conferences, I think, according to most. There's some people who might argue Iron Bowl or a couple other things, but predominantly speaking, most people agree that's, the game is the best rivalry in college football, if not college sports. Then it gets more interesting. So you got Minnesota, Wisconsin, a border battle there. That is a great rivalry. Iowa, Minnesota, another one involving the Gophers. The first one for Paul Bunyan's Axe when they faced Wisconsin, then Floyd of Roseville when they face Iowa. You've got UCLA, USC, which is the Victory Bell that they play for. So you got that battle in L.A., not the one with Kurt Russell, the one with USC and UCLA. You got Paul Bunyan's Governor of Michigan trophy between Michigan and Michigan State, then Oregon, Washington, Iowa, Wisconsin, Indiana, Purdue, Iowa, Nebraska, which is a big one, and then Illinois, Purdue. So I would just say this. We can keep it up for one more second so the boys can keep looking at it as they talk about it. I think Penn State, Ohio State should be on there. It's not necessarily as defined as some of these are. Like, there is some serious lineage to these. But, like, for example, Indiana, Purdue, it's a long withstanding rivalry, but no one cares about it. Like, no one cares. No one outside of those two schools cares about it. Illinois, Purdue, same thing. Like, I feel like those two, I don't know necessarily what you replace them with. Well, I'd say, Penn State, Ohio State is a good one to work in there. I'd put Michigan, Penn State, even though it's not a traditional long-term, like, statewide battle or, border battle, any of those things, over that. I think the top 5, though, are good. I think the top 7 are good, and I think Iowa, Nebraska at 9 is good. Like, those are all legit rivalries. I just have an issue, and I have nothing against Purdue. I almost transferred to Purdue after I got hurt at Michigan. Visited there. I like West Lafayette. It's a good town. it's a different, I don't know. There's just something different about it, but that might just be me. What do you guys think? Tom, you go first.
I think I'm in agreement with you. I think it's a pretty good list. For me, what I really think about is in terms of rivalries, of Big Ten rivalries, I hearken back to like 1978 in Keith Jackson, Nelly, calling the classic Big Ten game of Oregon and Washington. I still can't wrap my head around that they're in the Big Ten. It
is. I mean, it's obviously more used to it now. But it is still weird seeing USC, UCLA, and Oregon, Washington on this list.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Indiana, Purdue, I see that more as a basketball rivalry. I know that they do have a rivalry with football, but it's just, you're right. It's like nobody cares. Now they care about basketball, football, not so much. And I feel like with Illinois, Purdue, they're like, geez, gosh, cripes, we got to, round out this list. Screw it. Illinois, Purdue.
Right. Nate, what do you think?
Same. I don't think Purdue has any business on here if we're just talking football. Like, they never have a good football program. And Indiana historically has not either. Now, it could be changing, but so unfortunately you take all those teams off. I didn't know Iowa had so many rivalries. I wasn't aware that Minnesota did. No offense, Drew.
Yeah, that's not my team. That's my brother's team. But no, they do. They've got Iowa and Minnesota play for like a shit. It's like every weekend they're playing for a trophy. This weekend, the Floyd of Rosedale trophy. It's like every weekend.
If we're talking like college wrestling or something, I'd be like, oh yeah, Minnesota versus Iowa, like that's one of the biggest ones there is probably. But yeah, so I don't know. I'd probably take Iowa and somebody off there. At least Iowa versus Nebraska. Nebraska also never really has a good football team. Am I right? Or am I?
I mean, not since the '90s. I mean, they were unstoppable in the '90s, but yeah.
Like, yeah. So I definitely think out of all those, you got to clear room somewhere for Illinois versus Iowa. That's usually a fairly big game. And it's kind of shocking not to see Penn State on there somewhere.
Yeah.
They have such a historic team, and they were good for so many years under Joe Paterno. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I definitely would pull some teams off of there, though.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that's probably true for most conferences. You get to the top 10 rivalries, it's like, well, how about we do the top 5? And then we don't show some of the vulnerabilities in our rivalries down the road on the list. There's no segue to this next thing, but remember...
I got sort of a segue. You ready for it?
Yeah.
It's a Penn State segue.
Okay.
So I just came across an article. The district attorney who decided not to file any charges against Jerry Sandusky in the 90s is now missing.
Okay. I mean, that has no segue to the next story whatsoever.
But anytime that I could pile on Penn State, I'm going to use that opportunity.
Yes. Someone's missing, shower scenes, all that stuff, all the Penn State stuff. So you remember... We obviously, when the conflict with Iran kicked off, we had the fighter pilot and his weapons officer go down, eject. One recovered early, the other not recovered right away, and then we moved heaven and earth to do it. Well, as we all knew, and we said at the time, this is literally perfect for a movie. The whole scene, the whole description, everything about it, then add a little Hollywood to it. It's like, oh, this is gonna come out, and it's gonna come out pretty fast. Like they're gonna green light this and get it into production ASAP. And it's not in production yet, but it has been announced that Michael Bay will be directing, the movie about the two pilots, the rescue mission, everything that happened. And I'll just say this: I know Tom's gonna have something to say about it for sure, because he does about these things and most things. I think if you're going to do this, one, from a consumer perspective and also from a government perspective, if you're trying to promote something about this story, which is a badass story, but if you're trying to promote it and use it as a form of marketing, getting the information out there, what have you, same thing for the audience. I think the guy that they picked I think Michael Bay is a good pick. Like, he did 13 Hours. He did a good job. It was a good movie. It was intense. It was emotional. It pulled in a lot of things, hit on a lot of the pieces that were there. I've heard he's an absolute nightmare to work with on the set. Don't know him from Adam. Don't know if that's true, but I've heard that from several people. But I think that, how he builds, kind of ramps up your stuff like he's done in the Bad Boys thing, which is totally different, obviously, than 13 Hours, but then 13 Hours too. I mean, he's done some good stuff. He's done some not so good stuff. But I think for what the government's going for here, I think that he's the right guy for the job.
I think you mix Bad Boys and this, and you have Martin Lawrence and Will Smith play the two down airmen.
They're black now? Yes.
Yes.
Netflix will do it.
That'll be great.
The pilots are both female and black now. No, but I think don't you think he's kind of a good guy to do it? Like, he's
your best option.
He's your best option. Like, you put the right soundtrack with him, and which he always brings a good soundtrack, and like he does a good job. Like, are his movies going to win awards? No, typically not. But are you going to have you walking out of theater like, that was entertaining as shit? Like, yeah, you will. Like, he captures that.
Right. Well, I think Peter Berg would be better directorial choice than Michael Bay. But I understand what you're going for when you're using a film as propaganda. To me, I see this being a psyop, and I see if there's going to be a quick turnaround on this film, I don't see the Iran war going anywhere. And I also see the launch of this film being close to, if not a little bit after ground troops going into Iran. And I see Hollywood continuing to ramp up movies like this because, like I said, I don't see the Iran war going anywhere. And I think if you want to get people, emotionally invested in the story that you're trying to tell of why we should be in Iran, then you have to have a story like this where you have an emotional arc to it. Are we going to get questions to the answers that I have about that mission? Like, number one, what were they doing? Number two, why were so many C-130s lost along with attack helicopters on the ground there? I don't think so. I think that'll get glossed over, or they'll address it, but they'll couch it in a way where it was, their idea of what happened. So to me, I see this as a bad sign. I feel like as a bad sign as far as to what's to come.
Okay. All right. Well, fair. I do agree. Peter Berg would be better. I think for what they want to do, Michael Berg would be. I mean, Peter Berg did an amazing job with so many things, obviously Lone Survivor being one of them. I think he'd be freaking outstanding. But Michael Bay is what we got. I think it'll be a good film. I think it will be used to produce a lot of things for sure. We'll see. We'll see when it comes out. We'll see who the main stars are too. That'll be.
I like Nate's idea of Will Smith.
Martin Lawrence.
Well, of course, you got to throw in Kevin Hart somewhere.
Yeah. Well, see, they're gonna crash and link up, and it's gonna kind of be a buddy comedy, and then they're like gonna stumble across Kevin Hart, this like Iranian, or what's his name from King of Queens? That Kevin. You do him too. He's
Kevin James.
Kevin James. Yeah.
Or how about this? How about Kevin Hart and Timothy Chalamet as the pilots?
Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great.
That would be something. I've been watching his, I think I talked about this, maybe I didn't. I've been watching Kevin Hart's reality comic show, Funny AF, or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called. The one dude, Usama Siddiqui, who's like a Bengali Indian, like he's actually pretty funny. Total side point. If you're watching it, I'm talking about. If you don't worry about it. But he's a guy to watch. He's actually pretty damn funny. Okay. No memes today, but we do have some great stuff coming up this weekend. We got NHL, NBA playoffs. Obviously, the Montreal Carolina series kicks off tonight. That's going to be awesome. You're going to have the Spurs Thunder. The Knicks Cavs continue into the weekend. You're going to have both the Knights Avalanche and the Canadiens Hurricanes games going into the weekend. So that's going to all be really, really good. I'm looking forward to that. Like Nate said earlier, I think this Spurs Thunder series is going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to go probably to 7 games. We'll see what happens with the Knicks Cavs. The hockey one's off to an interesting start last night. We'll see which form of the Canadiens shows up. The Canadiens weren't supposed to get this far this year. They have. They've looked phenomenal. They looked great against Buffalo, winning in overtime in Game 7. We'll see what happens when they take on that raucous crowd in Carolina. And then you got the Byron Nelson Classic starting today, which carries through the weekend. That's out in McKinney, Texas, I think it is. Texas, no doubt. But it's in Texas. Scotty Scheffler won it last year. The purse, $10.5 million this year. So we'll see. That'll be an interesting watch, something to watch as the weekend pursues or goes ahead, and then Sunday comes to a close. Then you got the Coca-Cola 600 this Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, which is a late start for the race. Kyle Busch out. He's in the hospital dealing with a severe illness. He posted earlier today. Austin Hill's going to be driving in his place, so hope that he's doing better. Thoughts and prayers to Kyle Busch and the Richard Childress Racing Team, his family, all of that.
Not hantavirus, is it? Or Ebola?
I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I see that. I'm like, man, like, what is it? Like, what's Kyle dealing with?
Oof.
I don't know.
Probably just a detox.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe. He's I think he's got two top 10 finishes. He's not had an amazing year. I know some of the RCR guys. I want RCR to do well. I've bet on Kyle a couple times this year. He's totally disappointed me every time. So I won't be doing that again. I do hope he gets out of the hospital, though. We'll see how Austin Hill does tomorrow. We got the Indianapolis 500 this weekend.
Yes.
Tom's pretty excited about it. I think everyone should be. It is quite the spectacle. So that's coming this weekend. So lots of things happening on tracks. This one the biggest in terms of racing. Tom, we got Alex Palau, Palau, Rossi, and Malukas. Is it Malukas?
Malukas, yes.
Yeah, that's row 1. Rosenquist, Ferrucci, and O'Ward, row 2. Simpson, Daly, and McLaughlin in row 3. By the way, the chick, what's her first name? Leg. She's racing both NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
And the Indy 500 this weekend.
Yes.
Wow.
Same day.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like that is, like, you can say whatever you want. Women don't. That's not what we say around here. I don't say that. Women don't belong in NASCAR or Indy. But like, okay, you can think that. But if this badass bitch races both of those in the same day, like, you need to sit down on that one. Even if she doesn't win, which she's not projected to in either. Obviously, it's a possibility. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's only been a handful of drivers to do it, and I believe she would be the first female.
Yeah,
unless Danica did it.
I don't know. That's true. I don't know if Danica did it. We love you, Danica. What excites you most about the weekend? Tom, I know your answer, so I'm going to start with Nate.
Just more playoff basketball and hockey. Can never get enough.
I know.
You know, we are down to only one series on each side, so.
The nice thing, though, is now is you don't have two. I mean, it sucks because you don't have a couple games a day, but you basically are insured a game per day in both leagues, in both the NBA and NHL, which is nice. So you've got the good switchback. It just comes down to what's your main game and what's your commercial game and what are you ordering to eat. That's what it comes down to.
Right. There's no overlapping. You're not gonna have to choose between two.
Yeah. I like it. All right, Tom, are you going Indy 500?
Yeah, I got to go Indy 500. It's one of my favorite sporting events during the whole year. I'll actually be in Indianapolis this weekend. I won't be going to the race as of now. I don't know. That's kind of up in the air. I'm staying with my friend Brian and his wife Gigi. My friend Brian is a weatherman down there, so he's going to be at the track from 4 a.m. until 10 a.m. when I arrive. So I don't know how he would look forward to spending the day at the track. So we'll probably go end up watching the race somewhere. And then, of course, the Coca-Cola 600.
Yeah, I think both will be fun. You know, I really, honestly, like, I know it sounds like a cop-out answer. I'm just looking forward to all of it. I'm just hoping it's good weather, sit out back, have all this stuff going on, switching between shows or games and races, smoking some cigars, living it up down here in Florida. Hopefully you guys enjoy all of it as well yourself, wherever you are. Hopefully you have great weather. Hopefully you take a break from the crazy news and politics and all the stuff that's going on out there. Not saying not to pay attention to it. Just take a break. That's all I'm saying. Just take a little break and then come back and join us Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, wherever you watch or listen. We hope you have a great weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you back here on Tuesday. Be safe, be smart, be free.
We got balls and banter.